So,
You saw it,
yeah, I did.
the train wreck.
Yeah, that's what it was.
This is what happens when you have a hen party for a reunion.
Great day in the morning.
Welcome to Cliff Alerts.
Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, Make a Move, season number 1, Reunions Part 1 and 2.
Now, you know what we want you to do: like, share, subscribe, and send us your comments. We want to unpack this as quickly as we can to save our own mental health. The show began with an introduction of the new host. What was her name?
Tanika Ray.
And she had a co host, and her name was.
Tanika Lee, the matchmaking expert.
So they introduced the ladies, Zadia, Vern, Ashley, and Charisse. And at first they had a kumbaya party, the power of sisterhood and friendships. And less than 2 minutes in, they were already squabbling with each other. Tamika turned to Zadia and asked her why she was capping when she did not reveal that she and Cam hanged out the entire night into the morning. That's why she woke Charisse up to let her into the house.
Yeah, from my vantage point, she never answered the question.
Well, she was surprised to begin with, and she started off with she's a grown woman, but that's not how grown women act. When asked the question, grown women will usually say, well, we hang out all night into the morning, and that's that. No other questions needed, no explanations. Her definition of being grown and mine are two different things altogether. Claudia started complaining that Charisse was a bully. They had a lot of problems because of Charisse.
Charisse declined or actually denied being a bully and just basically explained to not only her but the rest of the cast members that, hey, look, I've never really lived with anybody else, and so while you guys were easy to live with, relatively speaking, I wasn't comfortable in this situation from the beginning.
And that's understandable. However, Ashley, who's always on a 1000, she started off getting turned up, telling Charisse that she's not going to sit here and accuse them of being
He
bullied.
must not have heard that Zadia said that instead of Charisse. So what in her mind she processed, I don't know, but it wasn't what happened.
And of course, Vern put in her 2 cents. Charisse told Ashley she's not going to talk to her like that. And then Charisse started shouting. She got up and she said she's not going to do this. And she looked like she was leaving.
Tamika, the matchmaker who got her kind of back on
Back on
point.
track.
Yeah, back on track. I don't know.
So much for friendships. We pivot now to the introduction of Donald and Kirsten on the set. Tanika asked Donald how did he like our girl, and Ashley sat back in the cut and she was smiling. She said something about Kool-Aid smile. I don't know what that is.
Okay. That was just something that kind of caught me off guard too. She said that she liked his brown suit and his Kool-Aid smile.
Anywho, Donald said that he and Ashley are getting along fine, and he said he did not like how Ashley spoke to him.
Yeah, and also that what led to them kind of drifting apart, if you will, was something that in his mind was a simple miscommunication.
Yes, because it for him, while he may like Ashley, he doesn't like the disrespect that's coming out of her mouth, particularly when they met after he encountered his ex,
Lakeisha,
Lakeisha,
yeah,
and she sat there and told Donald that he had his tail tucked. Now that's disrespectful. So I'm not sure how she wants a man, but the one that's in front of her that she claims she likes, she's disrespecting him.
with no conscience whatsoever, but yet and still she claims that she wants that kind of respect in return.
Yes. So there's
Something ain't adding up.
they turn to Kristen now, and Tanika asked him how he's doing. He said, fine, he's good. Then she asked him what was his relationship like with Ashley,
Or the experience.
the
I think it
experience.
was the experience with Ashley in this process.
And he did like the dude in Hogan's Hero. I don't know if you know that one when he said what?
I know nothing.
Started saying, I have nothing to say.
Yeah, but to be fair, he also said it was okay, and that was it.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't
then,
elaborate on it. He didn't expand
right.
upon it, and he didn't really explain what he meant. And it didn't seem like he wanted to either.
Tanika was taken aback, just like the other cast, by Kirsten's dry response.
He was uninterested in engaging.
I thought he didn't want to be there to begin with.
Yeah, that was kind of obvious to me.
He repeated 3 times that he had nothing to say
Yeah, it seemed like he just wanted to meet the minimum requirements and show up and get paid the
because
check for her appearing.
he was doing the least. And eventually, when Tanika asked Ashley whether she knew why he was acting like this, Ashley said, well, they haven't seen each other since the filming of the show, but they left on relatively good terms. Vern looked at Zadia and asked, what then, why is he here? And Sadia piped up and said, oh, maybe he should leave. And the host said that if you don't want to be here, you can leave.
Yeah, so he took the opportunity to say, "Well, okay, um, that's cool. I'll leave. Thank you, dear."
That was funny. So when he was met in the hallway by the producers said, man, why didn't you say and defend yourself? He said he's not that kind of dude. He don't have to defend himself for anything. He knows who he is. And he took off the mic and walked off.
I think that was a good response considering where he was.
Ashley looked embarrassed, and then Tamika said, which I thought was out of line. She told Ashley that she is happy that she didn't choose him because he's not the kind of man that you could build a future with.
And she knows this how?
No clue.
Well, to me, that was unprofessional. And I guess what can consider to be in this whole media industry is editorializing.
I don't think she considered that there was an upset that prevented him from feeling free enough to speak his mind.
I'm wondering if she felt like she needed to, in any certain way, defend Ashley for his behavior, and because it didn't line up with what she thought should have happened.
The peanut gallery, they started chipping in, and one said, Tanika said she thought he was petty, it was childish, and they were now really going in on him. But at no time did I hear Tamika say, after the exchange between Ashley and Charisse and Zadia and Charisse, that they were being petty, that they were being unprofessional or out of line or trifling. You didn't hear that from them, and they were really acting up. She didn't have anything to say when that was going down.
Hypocrisy.
In any event, when they pivot back to Donald, Donald said he didn't like how Ashley was talking to him when she had the exchange with his friend.
Lakeisha.
And Lakeisha is sitting there now, and Lakeisha is mama guying Ashley, and she said, "Oh, I like this version of Ashley." And less than a second in, Ashley and
Lakeisha.
were going in on each other. So
It
it
was like
was
a
like,
continuation of what happened out in the park when they met.
right. And Donald said that the reason why he didn't intervene when Ashley and Lakeisha were going in on each other is that he felt like Ashley will feel like he was piling on
And siding with his friend
his
and ex
ex.
Lakeisha.
Therese, Maurice, and
Mizell.
And they're now on set, and Charisse and Maurice look really close. They look like they're comfortable with each other.
Yeah, both of them were smiling a lot, and you could tell they were excited to kind of share what's been going on with them since the show ended.
And what did they say?
They had been to the Essence Festival, something going on
Yeah,
between
and
the two.
Maurice said that he made some adjustments that
Mhm,
she complained about,
mhm.
and now that they're doing very well, she is now thinking of moving.
Yeah, they are in love with one another.
Yes. And Charisse looked happy, God bless her. And I'm glad that she's with a man that she has some sort of feelings for, because perhaps her relationship with him is gonna stop her from being such a dragon lady.
With a fiery tongue?
Yeah, she can burn you alive and then step back and watch you burn. HBO House of Dragons, she got some eggs percolating at the house.
And once he got it figured out, seemed to be able to avoid that fiery tongue that you say she has. And once they got the hiccups out of the way, it seemed like they were able to bond, gel, and move forward productively together. And it's a good thing to see, especially in Sharice's case, because I kind of think that she's been someone who has gotten in her own way and not really understood why things haven't worked out the way that they have.
And I hope it's real and they move closer and closer together.
It seems to be going in the right direction right now.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mizell was sitting there, and he had to explain why he did the player move when he knew he was connected to Charisse, but he sent Vern some sort of text, and they had some kind of conversation.
Let me take a shot at why he may have done this. Well, one, because he's experienced in how men move when they're trying to navigate these kinds of scenarios. They have, the good mouthpiece, and they talk to one woman, and then, you know, if they see something else they like, they'll go dolo with the approach with the other one.
Vern, when she was asked about the situation, she said that Mizell texted her all through the day, and he sent her some personal information, including a picture of her dog. And she decided, after getting all those things, that they can have a date with one another.
The problem that I have with what Vern said was that she did that before.
Yes. She had any kind of conversation with Charisse, and how she approached the conversation. Hey, Mizell send me a text. She didn't consider that she should have shut that thing down completely. Mind you, Mizell said it never happened. But for her, everything is ego and getting attention. Vern, Tabari, and Jabari on set. And Tanika asked her if she has any regrets regarding how she treated the men on the show.
Tabari had a different kind of response. He felt like his character at some point in the process was being berated by Fern, and he didn't really take too kindly to that.
Yes, the way she treated him was not pleasant, because this was a dating situation. This man didn't do anything to her. In fact, he introduced his mother to her. She claimed that she has never met anyone's mother before. That tells you a little bit about the game that she is playing. That all the dates she has had up till now, she has never encountered someone's mother. I mean, um, based on a lot of past relationships, people meet the mothers of the men that they're dating. It doesn't necessarily have to work out, but they do meet the mothers. So it's surprising that she, with all this body yachty out on display, has not met anyone's mother except for a man who's on television trying to date her.
That may be because of the package that she's presenting initially, and I would just presume that if Vern dresses like she did throughout the course of this season, that might be something that would register with guys and prevent them from ever introducing Vern to their mothers.
Because I just think she needs to rethink how she moves on another show. I think it was this week or last week that she is desired. That desire doesn't morph into a man claiming her and claiming her permanently. Meanwhile, they asked Jabari what he thought about the experience. He said he's cool. He's dating someone right now, and Jabari is old school. He's a traditional kind of man.
Yeah, he is somebody who believes in gender roles and is not shy about revealing that to anybody who asks him.
Right. If his woman is a boss lady, she could be that outside the house, but when she gets home, she needs to turn that down. He wants to be able to have dinner with her and that she's in the house rather than the streets.
Hmm.
And that's the way he wants to move
And it seems
because
like, yeah, and it seems like some of the cast members were rubbed the wrong way by how he phrased it, so to
yeah,
speak. Not necessarily by what he meant by it, but how he phrased it.
Tamika said that well, if you meet the right person, you will bend, bend, bend. And he said, well, I really don't think men have to bend, bend, bend for anything. But that's who the brother is.
Right
I
now,
have no idea why they got so bent out of shape. That's who he is. Whatever they say is not going to change that.
well, and and that's separate and aside from whether or not I as a guy agree with what he said.
Exactly.
Separate and aside altogether.
I was just taken aback how they were so the host, Tanika, said she was triggered. So do we need to do a timeout so she can go and sit on someone's couch because the man said he is the man in the relationship? There's men out there that operate this way. What are you gonna do? You just find one that is suitable for your taste. That's all it is.
What a novel concept. Yeah, I just think that maybe it would be a good idea if women who are in search of their man or their partner in life to be open to considering that if you want a certain type of guy, that maybe you have to make adjustments to attract to you what it is that you say you want.
Yes. You got to be what you want to be attracted to or the man you want in your life.
First,
So you want someone who has integrity, you got to have integrity.
and deal with other people in an honest and forthcoming, forthright way.
Camille came on for Zadia. Stormy came through for Ashley.
Yep.
She said that Zadia was not listening to Cameron because when she met Cameron, he indicated that he was pushing and hustling and that he thought that his timetable to actually get involved in a relationship would be 1 year.
Yeah, it seems like she understood based on what he was saying that he was on the grind. He didn't really have as much time as he would have wanted for a relationship with her friend Zadia, and that uh, he wanted to be, in a relationship, but the timing may not have been appropriate for him.
So, of course, Zadia, she didn't like to hear that coming from Camille, but Camille was right on point.
I agree. I agree with
Had
what.
she taken that advice in the first instance when the friends came through, she would not be in the position she was in on that reunion show.
That is exactly what uh, ran through my head in the way of thought.
Ashley turned to Stormy, and it seems she was so hyped up. She was so turned up. It seemed like she was accusing Stormy of trying to steal Kirsten.
She was kind of reverting back to some insecurity mode that sometimes kicks in with her.
Now, if Stormy is her girl, does she not know that Stormy is an attractive woman? That if she's on TV, she's gonna get dressed?
Yeah, it's almost like she, in her mind, wanted Stormy to maybe show up in sweats so that the focus should
Be be on
continue to
her.
be on her because she wasn't sure that Stormy understood that coming
The
in.
assignment
Right,
because she wanted to focus.
right.
And I didn't see any flirting between them. I don't know about you, but it seemed like Stormy was asking him questions, which she is there to do. and he was responding. In fact, at one point, Stormy asked if he had a brother. Does she not trust a friend?
Her place in this whole season as a cast member who is, being focused upon and trying to achieve what the goal is and meet a man and possibly make a move.
She should be on the marquee, basically, and everyone needed to fall in line.
Well, that's how she came off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Stormy got upset and stormed off the set, and Ashley went behind her. Once Ashley caught up with Stormy, she was crying at this point, and Ashley sort of kind of apologized. Just like Sharice has a man friend, LJ, to come through, even though Zadia tried to say that LJ and Sharice had something private going on, which was not true.
Right, because in her words, she saw Sharice kissing him all up in his mouth.
Yeah, that was some ish. Ashley needs to get a male friend. So when she's meeting potential suitors, she doesn't get bent out of shape if the man meets her a date. Because I've never seen anything as silly as this in a long time. What are we in high school? The unfortunate part of the hen house party was Zadia and Cameron.
What you call it again?
The hen house party. Cameron was on the hot seat. He said that he got caught up with work and that prevented him from going to DC, and it also prevented the continuation of their situation.
The problem that I have with what Cam did was that it didn't at times match up with what he said. He was on the grind and that he was focused on working and securing himself financially, so forth and so on. But yeah, I have time, and yes, I want to continue the relationship that we have now and further and grow it. So I'm like scratching this brown egg I got and wondering, does he realize that he's sending mixed signals to her?
He continued his statement by saying that he was happy. He didn't use those words, but he was glad that their situation had come to an end. He said he didn't really think it through and didn't understand how much work it would be. But right now, he has to choose, and he chooses his work.
And it was interesting that her girl Camille picked up on that immediately, but it seemingly took Zadia the course of the season to accept.
Yeah, and she turned to him and said, "Well, didn't I ask you whether you really want to go forward?" And you said yes. And then she told him, "Well, I trusted you."
I
So
trusted your
he
answer.
said he got her a gift. He brought out was a framed picture of when he took photographs of her when they were in New Orleans.
Yeah, the photo shoot
Yes.
episode.
And it really didn't look like something that you will give someone that you're getting ready to break up with. You know what I'm saying? Why bother? And it's not like someone you break up with someone and they're gonna hang this picture up that you just gave them. That's not gonna happen.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
did he think that through as well? I don't know. It doesn't seem like he did to me. Because then he went on to say, right now I've got three people to interview for a job for the back room. I wish we could wrap this up. And he got up and left the set. And when he entered the corridor area, he had a big old smile on his face. And they switched back to Zadia, and she was there trying to compose herself as she tried to kick or move the picture that he got her away from her feet. It was a ish show, a
Yeah,
train wreck.
yeah, and as you say, the peanut gallery kind of kicked in with their 2 cents as well.
Vern had the cojones to try to check Cameron. She said something about this is what men do, break your heart and all that other stuff. Meanwhile, when Tabari was sitting next to her, she was cold and harsh and mean spirited. She was rolling her eyes, towards him. And she has something to say about Cameron, who, in my mind, he didn't take any sort of care with how he laid Zadia down. He didn't really consider her feelings. He didn't think that maybe they should have had this conversation offset. He was just a little cold and callous to me, and that was surprising, and that was not good form. While I'm not a fan of Zadia, I didn't think it was pleasant how this worked out.
And that's his part in all of this, that
Right.
maybe he didn't realize he needed to be owning a little bit more than he did.
Was relieved that this was over. He should have done it a long time ago, but I mean, on set, on camera, in front of everyone, I thought that was unpleasant to
He
watch.
should have handled it in a different way. Bottom line, from my vantage point,
I was surprised she didn't go off on him and start waving her fingers in his face, but that didn't happen. So,
at least not on camera,
at
that we know
least not on
of.
camera. Because he's gonna wake up one night and she's gonna be staring at him. She's gonna be staring at him through the window.
Oh, one of those types.
It's about level 3 for her to be with a torchlight looking through his window.
Yeah, I can see that.
We compared to what she did in
I
DC.
can see that. Yeah.
She wrecked that funny. Anyway.
Mm, I forgot all about that.
Oh, thank God for peace.